Hello and welcome to another episode of Making a Difference. I'm your host, Ashton, coming to you from New York City. And just a few miles away, we're going to head up to Hartford, Connecticut to meet a fabulous woman who is helping people to get their voice heard in her own unique way. Please welcome to the show today, Jenn Grace of Publish Your Purpose. Hello, Jenn, and welcome to the show.
Hi, Cindy. Thanks for having me.
I'm so thrilled to have you. So you are helping people to get their voices heard, and that's how you're making a difference. But tell us more deeply what you actually do and how you do it.
Great question. So I'm the founder of Publish Your Purpose. And so we are a hybrid book publishing company, and our focus is on elevating and amplifying voices that are often not heard in more traditional publishing settings.
Great. And so when we talk about voices that are not traditionally heard, do you have certain types of people that are attracted to you? Are they people in corporate? Are they people who are like, where is your clientele really coming from?
Yeah, so that's a really great question. So our authors are almost exclusively entrepreneurs or business owners of some kind. We do have executive professionals as well, but for the majority of it, it really is entrepreneurial types. And most often they are, they've founded their business because they themselves have some really deep meaning and sense of purpose that they're trying to convey. So whether it's someone who is in recovery who wants to use their experience to help other people, or it's someone who was in a corporate environment where maybe they were marginalized or discriminated against, and now they're working in a diversity, equity, and inclusion space. So oftentimes we are working with people who are, coming from some, traditionally marginalized vantage point, even if they themselves don't actually consider themselves to be such.
Jenn, that's really beautiful because it is about that giving back and finding a deeper purpose. And so I know that in Hartford, Connecticut, there's a really great not-for-profit who's doing some pretty remarkable work. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So I just, I sometimes, or some weeks I should say, I feel like I do more volunteering than I do my own business. But I have I'm on a number of boards right now. I'm actually on 3 different boards, but there's one in particular that's called Maidan United, and it's a Ukrainian nonprofit here based in Hartford. And what they do is that they're raising money for medical supplies, life-saving medical supplies specifically, to send to the front lines of Ukraine. And so I've been helping them out with their marketing since February, when the war really kind of broke out into just such a heated way. And so since then, they've raised almost $400,000 in the last couple of months. And so I've been doing just as much as I can to kind of help them get the word out there, because, communities, as we all know, regardless of what community is, we all kind of tend to kind of stay together in a lot of ways. And I feel like for me, it's almost like looking at it as kind of like being an ally to the Ukrainian community. Like, how can I help kind of expand their reach as much as I can?
Jenn, I really love that because we tend to look at ourselves, oh, this is my community, but really we're all one. And if we can start to look at what are the other communities and how can we bond them together. One of the things when I met you a few years ago, I thought that you were super inspiring. You had a lot of purpose, a lot of passion yourself, which is why you do what you do. Talk to us about what has been some of your biggest influencers in terms of making you the inspirational person you are today.
Geez, I feel like that's such a hard question because, to me, I used to have a consulting business, and it had a very specific kind of focus, and it was around, corporations and Fortune companies in particular. And what I've learned is that the more people can just kind of authentically, and I know authentic is such a buzzword, but the more that we can just kind of show up as our raw, real, and honest selves, the more difference we can make, and the more other people who might be experiencing something similar can relate. So for me, it's not necessarily one particular person that's a source for inspiration. It's really anyone who's out there just trying to do better for themselves, but in that process, they're actually helping other people kind of see a path forward for themselves too.
Jenn, I love that you have that ability to see the whole picture. It's very clear in this interview, even though it was short to the point, that you really do look at the whole and how we all intersect, and it's absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was great.
Absolutely. And for those of you watching, thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Making a Difference. If you would like to connect with Jenn, please go to dailyadbrief.com, and we will see you on another episode very shortly.
Simplify presents Addressable CTV, combining the power of TV with the targeting and attribution of digital. Simplify's Addressable CTV delivers massive reach with the ability to scale without sacrificing precision. TV buyers can generate incremental reach with household-level targeting, frequency controls, reporting, and insights. To learn more about Simplify's Addressable CTV and what it can do for your clients, visit simply.fi.